Hey everybody. It was a little bit lighter out there earlier. I was just noticing I think it's just cloudy out there. Otherwise, it would be, I think, a lot lighter in here. But you guys don't really need to see me that much. Sorry, my throat's bothering me. I was uh, out out sick yesterday, and I just remembered tonight's Tuesday, and I'm supposed to be doing that thing with Darren. Oops. I may have to change that to Thursday because me being sick yesterday got me off on my days, and I've been thinking it's Monday all day. Um, so, Darren, if you come in here, apologies. I am so sorry. I just got mixed up on my days, and um, maybe we can do it. I don't know what I'm going to do about my throat. Just sitting here and realized, duh, dang it, it's Tuesday. It's not Monday. Oh, that's where you being sick gets you. So Darren's probably thinking, what in the hell? He probably thought, what is she doing? We were supposed to be having the paranormal experiences show. Uh, but I think I'm going to try to reschedule that for Thursday. Thanks, Darren. I am so sorry. Like I said, I was thinking it was Monday all day long because I missed work yesterday from being so sick. So if you want to reschedule it for if Thursday would work for you, we can even do it a little bit earlier if 8 o'clock's too late. I'm gonna have to do something about my throat because it was fine, and now all of a sudden, I mean, it was a little scratchy, but now it feels like I'm going to lose my voice, which is not a good thing to be doing if you're doing a live stream. But I did want to show off I just got my new last drive-in season. I think this is season 5. So you got Darcy and Joe Bob dressed up like they're ready to serve popcorn and hot dogs and soft drinks at the drive-in. I really like this artwork that they did this time. Um, and so, of course, I had to have it. And I also got the button set and the puffy stickers. I forgot to bring those back here. Um, hey, Texas. Hey, Blissful. Darren, you said Thursday's fine. Start an hour earlier if that's okay. Yes, sir. We can start at 7. I'll just make sure I get my button gear. Again, apologies that I just totally forgot what day it was. Well, thank you, Texas. I love this shirt too. I got it in late last night and thought, well, if I do a stream Tuesday, I will, or I was thinking it was Monday. If I do a stream, I will, I'll be sure to wear it. I wish that I could have done a stream last night, but I was so sick. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to work today. And I'm going to talk about what a shitty day at work, pretty much, or most of the day was shitty at work. During the daily grindhouse, I'm going to do half talking about the shitty day at work and half talking about great mothers and horror movies. And you guys feel free to add to it if I don't include some of your favorites. But Blissful says she loves the shirt too. And Texas says Blissful Jinx. Guys, I think I'm going to go get me a cough drop and see if that soothes my throat because I know I sound horrible. I'll be right back. Hey, 71. We don't even have a cellar, Uncle Bill. I'm glad to see you back. I thought you had died or something. I thought the COVID must have gotten you. Cause I hadn't seen you for a few days. I'm sure you were probably busy with dead pit stuff. But no, Steve didn't drag me to the cellar. I'm taking my sinus medication, over the counter medicine too. Uh, I could gripe about the Kroger pharmacy that's close to us too, and the daily grindhouse, but I think I'll just go ahead and gripe about it now. So I made an appointment at the little clinic at Kroger's, and it was a virtual visit because I felt like shit yesterday, and didn't really want to get out and go. Oh, I'll just have a virtual visit. Maybe they can prescribe me some medicine. They'll get me feeling better fast so that I can get my butt back to work. Okay. That was my theory. Anyway. So I uh I had the virtual visit, and they tell me the same thing. I don't understand why they have virtual visits if they're just going to tell you, well, if you came in, we would probably do tests to see, you haven't done a COVID test, have you? And I'm like, no, but I really don't think it's COVID, is what I want to tell them. It might be still some of that long COVID, but I don't think it's like COVID, COVID. Um, but I was just like, I didn't think it was that. I thought it was flu or a sinus infection, which sinus infection is what it turned out to be based on the symptoms I was telling them. But they always say, well, if you came in and we could really examine you. And I want to say, well, then why do you have virtual visits for? Virtual visits are sometimes more convenient for me. Um, Uncle Bill, you say COVID wasn't that bad, but just been working and getting these into the pit DVDs worked out. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Um, so, anyway, I had the virtual visit, and they asked me what pharmacy I used, and I told them. And they sent me over some cough drop or cough medicine pills, benzoate or something like that. And they also sent me over a prescription for something that is technically it's over the counter. It's called Stayhis AD or something like that. And she basically said that would make me feel a lot better. I was like, great, you know. And of course, as usual, the Kroger pharmacy near our house sat on it and sat on it and sat on it and didn't get it ready. And so Steve finally said, you want me to just go up there and just ask him about it? I said, yeah, if you don't mind, because I was feeling like shit. So he went there and he called me from the Kroger pharmacy and said, they say it's back order. I said, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I had the appointment at like 11 o'clock, the virtual appointment. That medication was supposed to be ready by 12:15. And they sat on it all day instead of calling me and saying, hey, by the way, you're not going to get this Stayist AD medication because it's back ordered. So Steve had to pick me up some over the counter something or other. I told him just to get me something for sinus. And I've been taking it, but I was crying last night because I was in such pain. I mean, my whole body hurt. And I had no energy and all of that stuff. So once I got the crying all out of me, I basically was exhausted. I tried to rest all day long, and it just felt like no rest was enough. So yeah, didn't have a very good day yesterday, and not didn't have a good work day today either. So, and I'm going to tell you why in the daily grindhouse, or part of the daily grindhouse anyway. You're going to hear me bitch and moan about something else. But tonight is going to be me taking a deep dive into rock bands in horror movie history. Okay. And some of these rock bands I've talked about a little bit before, and some of these are probably going to make you guys moan and groan, especially if Uncle Bill's in here. Uh, but I thought I would do something a little bit different, than some of the other things I do. And there might be a second parter to this, or a third part. But I've kind of got to get together, some more bands. And some of these bands, before I talk about them, I was not able to find a whole lot of information about them. And others, I was able to find quite a bit. So, Mary, you say, luckily I've never had COVID, had my vaccinations and boosters. I do my best to stay away from people, which I've always done anyway. I had my vaccination and boosters as well, but unfortunately, I've had COVID at least twice, um, despite that. So count yourself lucky that you haven't got it. Maybe I don't stay away from people as much as I should. Well, there's one I missed when I was thinking about them. So definitely, Uncle Bill, I will be doing a second part, and I will cover White Sister. I just didn't have enough time to get information together about them. But a second part is coming up, Uncle Bill, so never fear. Um, I don't know, 71. I mean, I took the boosters a while back, um, before I even got the COVID that caused me to go into long COVID. So I don't know. Um, I don't know if that's what caused it or not. So, anyway, I'm going to have the intro to the Daily Grindhouse, and then I'm going to do my bitch moan session about work and talk about good mothers in horror movie history, or in horror movies. I want to talk about 6 movies that have what I think is good mothers in it. 71 says, probably why you're getting ill because I took the boosters, and that's why we don't touch that crap. I don't know. I was told getting the boosters was the best thing for me, so that's why I did that. Oh, I used to get ear infections, blissful, when I was a kid. I used to have terrible ear infections. Okay, so let's do the Daily Grindhouse intro, and then I'm going to get right into the Daily Grindhouse. Uh, 71, I'm not trying to be cantankerous, hon, but I didn't listen to the government. I listened to other outlets. I never listened to the government about anything. Um, I mean, granted, I might not have done a lot of thinking about it, but honestly, it seemed like the best thing to do would be to take the boosters, but perhaps it wasn't. Mary say now both of my nieces did get COVID. My niece's daughter never got vaccinated, but her mother got vaccinated and a booster. I think she got it from her daughter. Uncle Bill's getting feisty. He doesn't want us talking about government and conspiracies and all that nonsense shit. This is a horror show. That's right, Uncle Bill, and I'm going to get to the horror part of it here shortly. But first of all, I want to bitch and moan about my shitty day at work, okay? So permit me, that's not talking about the government, by the way. So anyway, of course, I missed yesterday because I was so sick. And today I knew there was going to be some amount of ticket accumulation because there always is when I miss. And we're also, all of us on the help desk are starting to get more tickets. But so I had a few more tickets than I did on Friday. Okay. But I clearly expected that. But then I noticed a ticket from this one lady, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to call her and see what we need to do. And it was some software, and I had to ask one of the other guys on the help desk, what is this software and how do I roll it back? Because they claimed that when they upgraded it, it messed up their 3D printers. And what this software and the 3D printers, they use them to make retainers. Okay, so 3D printers are becoming a bigger thing. So anyway, so she was like, I can't get anything done. I can't make any retainers, blah, blah, blah. I really need to get this fixed. So I checked with one of the other guys on the help desk, and then he was basically saying, well, she needs to get it with the company that makes the software and they can roll it back for her. So that's what I told her, first of all. And she's like, no. She's like, I contacted them yesterday. And she's clearly frustrated, and I get it. She said, no, I contacted them yesterday, and they told me that our IT people would have to do it, that they couldn't do it, and that we would know what version she had before and all this. And I'm like, and I'm telling the other guy on the help desk all this stuff, and he's like, he said, I'm clueless about that. And so he had me ask one of the people that is still listed as a field tech, but technically we don't have field techs anymore. Those are the guys and gals that are boots on the ground that actually would go to the clinics and do stuff. Now we, have them in certain areas, but we don't have them everywhere. So, anyway, I keep telling her this, and she's like, no, she said, they said for you guys to do it. So I'm trying to work out, and I'm asking the guy that's a field tech, and he said, well, what's her number? I'll call her. And then she hangs up on me when he starts calling her without any, hey, I got to get off here because this guy's calling me. And then he about half-assed done something, because every time you talk to these guys, oh, I'm busy. My plate's full. I can't help you now. It's like, well, what good are you guys when somebody tells me to ask you about it and you can't help me? You're always busy. That's what I want to say, but I don't. I try to be, remain professional. So anyway, then my supervisor gets into it, and he's telling me what I need to do and all this stuff. So then in the meantime, she tells me, "Oh, I talked to somebody else at this place, and she was calmer then, because I talked to her on the phone a second time, and she said that she was sorry, for being extra frustrated and stuff." Now I said, "No, I get it, you know, but." She was bringing up stuff on the website earlier and then telling me, no, 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 I don't need this firmware. I need this. And it's like, oh my, okay. So by that time, I had a pounding headache. We eventually got it worked out, and then she got the right version installed, or I mean, downloaded, but she needed me to install it. So I set up a time, 2 o'clock, to do that because she said that's what will work for her. Okay. So then I went to get on there to install it, and she sent me a message. No, I don't need you to. And I said, well, do you need me to install it tomorrow or, later today or whatever? And she's like, no, I talked to somebody at the other lab, and I don't know why the software company couldn't tell me what the fix was. I was like, I don't know. And she thanked me for my help. And then by the end of the day, that was done and over with. Okay. And she had closed out the ticket and all that. And then, when I was still trying to deal with that, my supervisor wanted me to call him and talk to him about stuff. And then he started talking about my tickets. Now, keep in mind, guys, just a few weeks ago, he told me how great I was doing. I was keeping up on my tickets and all that stuff. Okay. Now he's done a complete 360. And he neglected to remember that I was off yesterday, so I couldn't update my tickets. I was off sick. So he starts going through some of my older tickets. You can close that one. What about this one? Why did you do it that way? Like, for instance, I was trying to work out these new damn credit card readers, and it appeared that they were Bluetooth, that they needed to be connected to Bluetooth. So I contacted the company. They were the company that had all the information about these new credit card readers. And so they tried and they tried and they tried, and they could not get these devices connected through the internal Bluetooth on the computers. So one of the guys on the help desk told me, well, maybe we just need to get stronger Bluetooth dongles. Maybe the internal Bluetooth's not strong enough. So my supervisor wanted to know why I ordered those. And so I was trying to explain to him. He had me so flustered by the end of it. And he said, you need to get with me for stuff like that because I have no clue how to do this and we need to work together on it. And I thought, half the time he's on the road and I can't, when these people call me and say, hey, guess what? I'm ready to get this credit card reader working. It never fails. And so what am I supposed to do? Tell them, oh, we got to wait till Steven's back and we'll do it then. Things don't work that way. And number two, I like to try to figure things out by myself. I don't like waiting on other people. That just bugs the hell out of me. So he said he appreciated my initiative, but that because this credit card reader thing kind of fell in the help desk lap, that I need to work with him on it. And he sent me something that he said was going to show me how to hook these damn things up through Wi-Fi. And it doesn't show me anything. All it shows is how to see if your credit card readers have been tampered with. If somebody's, tried to do something nefarious to your credit card reader. It doesn't show you how to install it. It doesn't tell you how to get it hooked up to Wi-Fi. I had to go on a website and figure that stuff out. So, and he was asking me about just 2 or 3 tickets. I wanted to say, what happened to you telling me that I was doing such a great job and keeping up with my tickets and yada yada yada? And it's crazy. Then I had to call the x-ray company, and I had 8 or 9 computers between 2 clinics that I was supposed to be upgrading some software on it. Okay, I'm not even going to mention the software because you guys are probably not, unless you worked in a dentist office or orthodontist office, you're not going to have any clue what I'm talking about. So usually when I call, all I got to do is get remoted into the computer in question or computers in question, sign in under the admin account, and help them get remoted in. And then they install the software and make sure it works. This guy kept me on the phone for over an hour. He would go away for 20 minutes at a time, and I would hear nothing. And at one point I said, "Are you still there? Did I lose you?" And he says, "Oh, I'm still here. I'm trying to verify something. I'm trying to confirm it." He did that 3 freaking times. And all the while I'm getting madder and madder and madder. And so he finally comes back after about an hour and a half. I've been on the phone, and finally gets the freaking software installed and shows me how to do it from here on out. And I thought, fine, I'm not going to wait another hour and a half between each one of these damn computers. I will just do it myself. So, yeah, my day was pretty shitty as far as work. But before I lose anybody in here talking about this stuff, um, I am going to talk about the good mothers in horror movies, or ones that I think are good that have good mothers in them. Um, one is Ellen Burstyn's character, Chris McNeil, in The Exorcist, because she is a good mother. She doesn't know what's happening to her daughter. She doesn't really know how to help her, but she does the best she can. So, Chris McNeil was on a lot of these lists about best mothers in horror films. Um, and so I did want to include that. I'm not going to, go on and on about these movies. Well, thank you, Blissful. You say, no, it's good that you vent. I think if I didn't vent in some capacity, I would just explode. The next one is Donna Trenton in Cujo. She pretty much puts her life on the line to save her young son in this movie. I don't like to see the death of dogs and cats and other animals, but this dog was rabid. The dog within the movie. She obviously didn't kill any real animals. But Donna Trenton went through a hell of a lot, even getting bit by the rabid dog. And I feel like everything that she did throughout this movie was to save her son. That was the only thing that mattered to her, was that she saved her son. Yes, Mayor, I agree. It is better to vent than hold it in. And I'm glad that you guys allow me to vent, because Steve doesn't like to hear me vent, unfortunately. Exactly right, Mayor. That has been a huge gripe with me. When in the hell are we going to get a 4K of The Exorcist? We got a 4K of The Exorcist 3, which is a great movie. Well, where's my damn 4K of The Exorcist? Come on, Warner Brothers. You can do it. I mean, you put out other movies that you own the rights to, one of which I'm getting ready to talk about. Sorry. Well, thank you, Texas. I appreciate that. You guys just all don't seem to mind me, bitching and moaning about stuff. Which the next one I want to talk about is Wendy Torrance in The Shining. Again, a very resourceful mother. She may have, Shelley Duvall's version of Wendy Torrance may have seemed meek and mild most of the time, but when it really came down to it, she protected Danny. And not only from her husband, who had become something else because of the hotel, but from the other entities in the hotel as well. So definitely got to include Wendy Torrance. Well, thank you, Uncle Phil. Anyway, you say, I want you to shut your mouth, Dana, and quit venting. Mayor, you say, I vent every Tuesday morning at my group therapy. I always feel better afterwards. Yeah, and I think that is why group therapy is so, so very important. I almost wish I could have group therapy. I have one-on-one therapy, but I've never been in group therapy. Okay, so the next great mother is Diane Freeling in Poltergeist. I mean, this mother goes above and beyond to save her child. And if you don't believe me and have never seen Poltergeist, then I say definitely watch this one. Also, I want to bring up the fact that this is the only 4K I own in my collection that has a yellow warning sticker on it that says this film contains sequences of flashing lights that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. I mean, I think that's good that they have the warning, but I didn't realize, that had become a thing until I saw that on there. The Conjuring actually has two great mothers, Lorraine Warren and Mrs. Perron or Perrin, how you pronounce it. So these are both very good mothers in the movie that they really want to protect their children. Lorraine Warren wants to protect her daughter. Mrs. Perrin wants to protect her children as well. Even, I think in some ways, when she succumbs to being possessed by this entity, I think in a way it was to protect her children. Nobody wants to be possessed, but it took the heat, so to speak, off of her children, and the entity concentrated on her. So there are two great mothers in The Conjuring. And the last one I want to talk about is Karen Barclay in Child's Play. I mean, when it comes down to it, Karen is very resourceful at helping to eliminate Chucky, at least for the time being within this film, to protect her son, Andy. Okay? After all, she was the one that got him the damn doll, right? So when he goes bad, then Karen's there to protect her young son. Okay. Oh, my cough draw is. There we go. So now we've reached the end of the Daily Grindhouse, and I'm going to read Mayor's message before we get to the meat of this live stream. Mayor says, I had a therapist, but after seeing her for 4 years, she left Foundations to open up her own private practice. And Foundations is having trouble getting new therapists. I got you. So, now what you guys have all been waiting for, haven't you? Really? You've been waiting for it, right? Is the deep dives into rock band horror history. Okay. And unfortunately, I was not able to find a lot about Voyager, which did music for Blood Lake. But I can play you, some snippets of their music. I also was not able to find really a lot of information about Crime, which was the band on Terror Train. But I'm just going to, I think I'm going to start with Felony, which was the band playing in the roller rink on graduation day. And the song that they are playing is Gangster Rock. And if you couldn't understand what they were saying in that, um, oh my, I guess I hadn't heard that, Mayor. So Ed Gale was soliciting minors. Ugh. Oh, your dog's plotting something blissful. Okay. Um, so let me give you a little background on Felony. Felony also has I didn't realize that one of the brothers, who was the originator of the band Felony, committed suicide later in life. Um, so Felony was an American new wave and rock band that was formed in Los Angeles, California in the early 70s by brothers Jeffrey Scott Spry, who did lead vocals, Joseph Anthony Spry, who did guitars and vocals, brothers Danny Sands, piano and keyboards, and Steve Sands, sound engineer. So it was formed by two sets of brothers. So after a period playing shows and making music business connections in the Los Angeles scene, Felony appeared in the horror B movie Graduation Day in 1981, playing their song Gangsters of Rock. Soon after, they signed with producers and managers Don Rubin, formerly of the pop group The Ivy Three, and Artie Kornfeld. Live shows mixed by sound engineer Steve Sands, who is also credited as second engineer on the debut album, The Fanatic. During their developmental stage of Felony, Jeffrey Spry left the band briefly to be the singer with the Detroit proto-punk hard band legends um, Rock Ashton of Iggy and the Stooges and Dennis Machine Gun Thompson of the MC5, in a short-lived supergroup based in Los Angeles that was called the New Order, preceding the English New Wave group of the same name. He quickly returned to Felony and continued working with his brother Joe and the other members of the band. Felony went into the studio and emerged with the single The Fanatic, which became a hit on Los Angeles radio station KROQ-FM with help from program director Rick Carroll. The song peaked at number 42 on the Billboard Hot 100 in early 1983. It became a key track in the development of the modern rock radio format. The Fanatic was included in the influential 1983 Valley Girl soundtrack, which also featured Martin English's I Met With You. Felony also performed the track on American Bandstand, which I'm going to try to show you a little clip of that American Bandstand, where Dick Clark actually went over and talked to members of the band. Video was made from the Fanatic. The Fanatic video was shot in Hollywood, California in 1983 and aired on MTV. The Fanatic video includes a cameo of Jeffrey Spry with his first wife, SAG actress Lucretia Sarita Russo. The band, which now included Jeffrey on lead vocals, Joe on guitar, Danny Sands on piano and keyboards, Luis Ruiz on bass, and Artie Blee on drums, recorded their first full-length album, also called The Fanatic, which was released in 1983 on Scotty Brothers Records, with distribution by CBS Records. It included the single and 9 other tracks that helped define the trendy but never huge power pop new wave sound of the early 1980s. Felony's second single was 1983's The Pied Piper, which producer Cornfield had written with Steve Duboff in the 1960s, and which had been a hit for Crispian, St. Peter's, and Cher. Christine from The Fanatic was also a single in 1983. The band recorded songs including All the King's Horses and She's My Little Girl for a second album on Scotty Brothers that never materialized. Their original chemistry was never recaptured, and in 1985, M. High released Felony's sophomore effort, The Vigilante, which featured a more traditional rock sound. The title track got a lot of radio play and was number 2 in the KROQ Top 106.7 countdown of 1985. Okay, here's another little bit of horror movie history with Felony. The Vigilante also featured the track I'm No Animal, which appeared on the soundtrack of 1986's Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Felony's final album, In the Name of Rock and Roll, was self-funded and produced by Joe and Ron Merenstein. Negotiations between Felony and a record label for release of this work stalled because of the label's unwillingness to give Joe production credit. The band disbanded and the Sprague brothers went their separate ways, each working on new projects. Jeffrey Scott Sprague committed suicide on March 9th, 1992. March 10th, 1992 was the re-release of The Fanatic. Joe formed his latest band, Can of Worms, with bass player John Avila of Oingo Boingo fame from the ashes of Felony. The supporting members of Can of Worms have changed over the years, but Joe continues to create music and is now working on the 5th CD set for release at the end of 2023. And the Fanatic was featured in the 2011 film Take Me Home Tonight. Okay. So I hope you guys weren't bored by that. I hope that was a little bit of interesting background on Felony. The mayor, you say, I love Iggy and the Stooges and the MC5. Texas, you say they're both amazing bands. Mayor, you say Texas, sadly, I've never seen either band live, but I have seen Iggy Pop live solo 3 times. Texas, you say, I've never seen them or Iggy solo, so you're very lucky. So, since you guys have more than likely, if you've seen Graduation Day, you have heard Gangsters of Rock, but I had forgotten about this I'm No Animal song, and I had no idea it was also by Felony. So I want to play this for you guys here in just a second, but I want to share my screen with you first. And hopefully get me kicked off.
Wake up, middle of the night, screaming my brains out. Get high, middle of the afternoon, no way, can't stop thinking about you. Your best friend turned out to be your worst enemy. I know what you want. Neon Sunset Boulevard. It's just my nightmare. One last nightmare. You call me an animal. That's just not the truth. I'm nowhere to go. Nowhere to go with you. Nowhere to go. Oh, I'm nowhere to go. Nowhere to go with you. Nowhere to go. Oh, with you.
Okay. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. And I just wonder how many of you guys remember that, number one, remember that song from Friday the 13th, Part 6? And how many of you knew that was Felony? Because I didn't know it was Felony. I remembered the song. Um, so I also wanted to now this is going to be because I don't know if Gangsters of Rock was, you know, somebody I think indicated that they thought that it was not released anywhere other than um, I guess graduation day. So let me share my screen with you guys again. Those of you that were on the or in the chat or live with me for the graduation day watch along on Sunday, this is going to be seem very familiar to you. Okay. Leslie say, "Oh, I remember wearing black lipstick. It stained my lips for days." LOL. Um, so I did promise you guys that I would show Felony on American Bandstand. Okay. So this is the little mini interview that Dick Clark did on American Bandstand, I believe, in 1983. And so, again, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So, have you learned more than you ever needed to know about the band Felony? I mean, there's tons of other stuff on YouTube, different songs and stuff like that. But I didn't want to do too much stuff and like bore you guys into oblivion. Okay. So, um, the um, the next band I wanted to talk about um, is Voyager, which I thought that Voyager was an Oklahoma band, like a local one, but I cannot find really any information about them. So, what I'm going to do is play, maybe little snippets of a couple of songs or whatever from 1987's Bloodlight. Okay. So I was just trying, this has like a mixture of dialogue in it too. So now I'm going to share my screen again. And again, keep in mind, I really couldn't find any information about this band. Um,
Everybody, there's something I want to say. It's not that rock and roll music helps me every day. It's sources of power and energy created in the mind. Listen and it's time to be seated.
so I guess I got struck, guys, didn't I? It was probably showing the Dick Clark thing.
Throughout the night, well, I never loved nobody. Miami to LA, wherever listen to it. Wake like a bike train. You can't feel power in it. Stimulates my mind. The night she's up to early, let's party all night, all night, all night. Protecting all the ways, and I know one place you want it to be. Because the right is right, well, you want to be. Feeling right, feeling free, feeling free, feeling free, feeling free. Control from some sky, you know something comes so. I couldn't even think about it.
Okay. So something told me in the back of my mind that Dick Clark thing was going to get me struck. So if you want to see any more Dick Clark stuff, you're going to have to search it out on your own. Something told me I shouldn't have done that. But, anyways, hopefully I won't get struck anymore because hopefully these other things that I'm showing won't get YouTube's panties in a bunch. So um, anyway, yeah, I noticed that. I was like looking, and it's like I saw where the mayor said, "Damn YouTube, you have to ruin everyone's fun." So yes, guys, if you want to see anything from American Bandstand, afraid you're gonna have to search it out yourself because I don't want to get struck anymore. Um, Texas, you say you just need to pause it every so often. Yeah, I probably just play it safe and the stuff that really um, could get, because I know the Dick Clark stuff, any Dick Clark stuff is probably going to get you struck. Mary say, I had Instagram block one of my reels the other day. They didn't like me using TikTok's music library over theirs. I used a Misfits song, so I re-uploaded it with another Misfits song. Gotcha. But, I don't have this problem too often, but every once in a while I do. And sometimes it's one of those things where I kind of know better and I do it anyway. But so, any more Dick Clark stuff, you guys are going to search it out on your own, guys and gals. Um, so, um, the next band I want to talk about is featured in The Last Slumber Party, which is First Strike. Um, and they did the title song for that movie. They did some others, I believe, but the Just a Nightmare um, song is the one that really, kind of is the pounding, driving force to the beginning of the movie. And to be honest, that movie's not really good. Um, it's entertaining to watch, nonetheless. But it the movie itself is just not real great. But this song is great. So if y'all will permit me a little indulgence here, we'll play um, Just a Nightmare here in just 1 second. Oops. And hopefully nothing else will get me struck during this live stream, right? All right.
Trying to drag me through living hell. I scream and shout and paint. Nothing's coming out. It's a man that I know but never seen before. He says, turn around and fight for your life. Will be nevermore. I said, no. I said, no.
Okay. So I'll give you a little background on First Strike. Just give me just a second here. So, a little bit about First Strike. First Strike was a collaboration of two of the best Tulsa, Oklahoma rock bands in 1984, according to this website. The band toured the Midwest United States throughout the 1980s and recorded an album titled Just a Nightmare in 1986. First Strike was the opening act for Metallica on the Master of Puppets tour, as well as opening for many other major rock acts. Um, let's see, First Strike re-released Just a Nightmare on Retrospect Records and also on a 25th anniversary limited edition collector's CD. First Strike played Rocklahoma 2009 and have signed to Rocklahoma. Uh, I don't know if that's 2010. I think that's what they meant. They're in talks to play many other future shows and festivals. Um, I was trying to see if there was. Um, they were originally called Slayer, believe it or not. Um, Although First Striker from Oklahoma, they claim to have been sometimes known as Texas Slayer, not to be confused with uh, 5-8 Slayer, a fairly well known San Antonio, Texas metal band who were originally named Slayer. So there's two albums listed here. Just a Nightmare, which you heard the song Just a Nightmare, and Welcome to the Revolution. Um, so again, not some of these bands, there's not a lot of stuff. Um, Here there are several songs on something called reverbnation.com. If you can, you could search for First Strike. Again, it's spelled Firstryke. They have several songs: Bite the Hand That Feeds You, Deceiver, Line Lock, Breakdown, Warpath, Tearing Down the Sky, Fly, Eve of Disaster, and Pick Your Poison. Again, First Strike was a metal band formed in '84 when two of the Midwest's most active bands came together. Rick Adams from the Tulsa Slayer, along with Brian Wallace, Jim Rutledge, and Paige Pancoast from Lazarus, touring nonstop across the Midwest and West Coast, finally coming off the road to record their first full-length CD, Just a Nightmare. The success of Nightmare led to the band opening for Dokken, King's X, and many other national and regional touring acts. After a long needed break, the band once again began playing local and regional shows and signed with Retrospect Records in April 2009, and with that began playing full time again. Making some structure and style changes, the band started writing new, heavier, more melodic material. 2010 brought more changes. Biggest was the departure of longtime drummer, brother Paige Pancoast, that led to First Strike announcing adding drummer Mike DePetrillo to the lineup. Mike brings years of playing, touring, experience, visuals, dynamics, and stage presence to the table, so hitting the ground running along with frontman Rick Adams, bassist Brian Wallace, and guitarist Jim Rutledge. 2011 get a new chapter along with their busy playing and touring schedule. First Strike went back to work writing and recording new material. November 2013 saw the release of Welcome to the Revolution, having great sales in the US and several other countries. 2014 started off and was a busy year. First Strike has continued Midwest and regional touring and some one-off US appearances across the country, opening for several national acts like THC, UFO, Metal Church, and Bubba Flex, and several festival appearances like Rocklahoma. As it is in life, change happens. Late 2017, early 2018 saw a lineup change with the transition in addition. First Strike announced and welcomed Steve Pogue to the family and gang as the new guitarist, bringing years of writing, playing, touring experience, and stage presence with him. 2018 saw some amazing shows and festival appearances. In 2019, First Strike has hit the ground running again, writing new material, booking shows, and festival appearances. 2019, the revolution continues. So, if you want to listen to several different songs by First Strike, you can check out this ReverbNation.com and search for First Strike there. Hey, Dirk. Blizzard, you say I'm low key in love with the guitar in this one. Oh, yeah. A lot of people like that by Slayer, Dirk. So Darren says Rain and Blood was great, but I like South of Heaven more. Dirk, you say Testament was a shit as well. So you check into the ReverbNation.com site daily, Blissful? Cool. So that's a little bit about First Strike. So the next one, I want to switch it up a little bit, and you can thank TJ for, reminding me that there is a good band on Terror Train. Now, guys, I'm afraid to show you the little clip from Terror Train that has the music the way it was in, or the band that was used and the style used and all of that in Terror Train, because I'm afraid it'll get me struck again. So what I do have is the band Crime, headed up by Larry Cohen, and not the director Larry Cohen, but the musician Larry Cohen, doing Funky Love. And this song was featured on Terror Train. Okay. So again, I'm going to share my screen.
Hello, boy. It's only me, and I'm all alone, as you can plainly see. And I got this need that only you can feel. You know it's up to you, baby, say you will. 'Cause you're the one I'm thinking of. I just want your funky love. I just want your funky love. Hey, wait a minute. Don't turn away. 'Cause there's something else that I've got to say. I've been watching you for quite some time. Now, baby, you're all that's on my mind. me to push and shove. I just want your funky love. I just want your funky love. Funky love.
Okay. Now that might not be to a lot of your guys' liking. That's a little that's not heavy metal or anything like that. That's just kind of they call that Canadian funk. So I hope you enjoyed that little snippet of it. Um, I think you guys are still talking about metal bands here. So Texas, you said Blissful. I saw Testament in clubs around San Francisco, and that was their power, but they didn't have it that night. Um, Texas also says I saw Testament open for Iron Maiden, and they were really disappointing. To which Blissful said that's blasphemy. Darren, you say best support band I ever saw was Flotsam and Jetsam opening for Megadeth. Doomsday for the Deceivers, still one of the best thrash albums. Dargy say never saw them. Wish I had. Probably the best show I've seen was Anthrax and Ozzy Halloween Night '89 Hearst Memorial Coliseum. I'm the man and no rest for the wicked. Blissful says she dated someone from Megadeth. Well, really, baby, sad. LOL. Um, maybe say funky love, and here all this time I thought she was singing effing love. LOL. Texas, you say that's not the Crime. I know. I think there is another band called Crime. That's harder, a lot harder than this. It's not funk. Um, which I'm going to tell you what Crime stands for in this case. Here in just a second. Darren, you say awesome, Dirk. I saw Anthrax supporting Metallica on Master of Puppets tour, one of my fave gigs. So, really, the only information I could find about the band Crime, fronted by Larry Cohen, um, was information about him on IMDb. So, Larry Cohen was born in Montreal, Canada in 1948. Larry was a guest soloist at the age of 14 with the Montreal Symphony Orchestra under Seiji Ozawa. After graduating from the Quebec Conservatory, he began composing and playing with groups in New York City in 1968, recording the album Stone Circus and the Diary of Mr. Gray. Returning to Montreal in 72, he branched into blues, R&B, and theater and began writing soundtracks for the National Film Board in 1978. In 1980, he appeared with his group Crime, which stands for Creative Research into Musical Expression, in Terror Train 1980, and has been scoring features since 1989. And you can actually see him really clearly when Jamie Lee Curtis's character of Elena is right up close to the band on stage in Terror Train. But again, I don't want to show. I don't want to show the clip from Terror Train because I'm afraid that that's going to get me struck again. But I will show you. It's not a good picture of Larry Cohen. He's on the far right, and you can't really see his face real well in this picture. But I am going to share the picture of the band real quickly. Not the video, which unfortunately shows Larry Cohen a lot clearer. But, we don't want to get struck again. So this is actually the picture of the band. You can see the woman in the band a lot better than you can see Larry Cohen on the far right there. So, okay. So that was a little bit about the band Crime, fronted by Larry Cohen. Now, I think I've got two more bands to talk about. Guys, I'm saving the best for last. You guys are going to love this. Um, yes, Texas. The other Crime was from San Francisco. They had a song called Hot Wire My Heart. Yes. And their music, like I said, their music wasn't funky. It wasn't bluesy or anything like that. I think theirs was more harder edged. Um, so the next one I want to talk about, the next to last one I want to talk about is 4 out of 5 Doctors, which was the house band in House on Sorority Row. So those of you that were watching along, including Uncle Bill, who was live on the stream for me for House on Sorority Row, you got to see 4 out of 5 Doctors in action. Okay. Um, so I'm going to give you a little bit of information about 4 out of 5 Doctors. This is from Wikipedia, of course. So 4 out of 5 Doctors was a Washington, D.C. based power pop band. They released an LP in 1980 produced by Alan Winstanley, and a second LP in 1982, Second Opinion, which I have, which is the two-headed doctor on the front, produced by Jeff Glicksman, producer for Black Sabbath in the 1980s. The Doctors toured the United States extensively. Their eclectic songs and astounding musicianship created a cult following and has been cited as an influence by many musicians. The Doctors were involved in several early 1980s films. In the summer of 2008, after a 17-year hiatus, 4 out of 5 Doctors reunited for a sold-out show at the Jammin' Java Club in Vienna, Virginia, and performed at the 2008 Whammy Awards at the State Theater in Falls Church, Virginia on February 15th, 2009. The members are Cal Everett on lead vocals and bass. That's the blonde guy in the band. George Pittaway on vocals and guitar. Jeff Severson on vocals, guitars, and keyboard. And Tom Ballou on vocals and drums. According to band member Jeff Severson, the Doctors toured with Hall & Oates, Richie Blackmore, and Pat Travers, and opened for The Clash, The Cars, Cyndi Lauper, Steppenwolf, Jim Carroll, and others. They also opened a few shows on Van Halen's 1981 Fair Warning tour. The band scored an 82 on Dick Clark's American Bandstand segment titled Rate a Record. 4 out of 5 Doctors performed several of their songs: Waiting for Roxanne, Mr. Cool Shoes, Modern Man, Waiting for a Change, and Dawn Patrol in the 1983 film The House on Sorority Row, and 2 songs, Not From Her World and Baby Baby Goes Bye Bye, in the 1980 film The Boogeyman, and I did not realize that. So they also had multiple horror film histories. So let's see. See if there's anything. Through their self-titled though their self-titled debut album met with little or no national success, the Doctors entered the studio to record their second album, this time with hit-making producer Jeff Glicksman, who had handled many commercial rock artists in recent years, including Kansas. Strange as it may seem, the Doctors' 80s outlook and Glicksman's hard rock history created an album as exciting as the Doctors' debut, though less varied. Using the first album's I Want Her as a jumping off point, the Doctors rock hard on Second Opinion without losing any of their charm or melodicism. Bassist and vocalist Cal Everett sounds more confident vocally, and his songs have even more hooks than before. Breaking rocks hard with a vocal that will melt even the most hardened criminal. The Lonely Ones is equally wonderful. Dawn Patrol is the pop rocker that Night Ranger wanted to write but was too pompous to do so. Guitarist Jeff Severson's Waiting for Roxanne is an absolute classic right out of the box and should have been a big radio hit that the Doctors were waiting for. Heart on a Chain is another classic that should not have had to wait for a radio station to play it. Only guitarist George Pittaway's Good Pretender fails to live up to the rest of the album, though it is certainly a good track. With another great album under their belts, the Doctors did what all good bands do at this point in their career. They broke up. Disappointed listeners might not forgive them for it. This was written by Stephen Schnee of All Music. So, let's hear a little 4 out of 5 Doctors, shall we? And no, I won't show any American Bandstand stuff. So let's okay. So this Waiting for a Change was one of the songs on House on Sorority Row. Um, are you guys getting bored yet? Because I'm probably talking about bands that you have no interest in now. You know, Felony and Voyager and First Strike, that was probably right up most of your guys' alley. Um,
Fashion plates and running mates and people in the news. Social snipers, gossip vipers, keep the facts confused. Horoscopes and punks on dope and students with demands. Heads up state, communicate, but never reach a plan. Now you show me the man who says he understands about everything. Issues and answers are fine to advance for me, yeah. I'm checking the files for the last time I smiled about anything. Joining the movement with hopes to improve my scene. But now I'm waiting for the change. Oh, I've been waiting for the change. I've been waiting for the change, waiting so long. Yeah. Bedroom floggers, status joggers, those who exercise. Jesus vendors, sex offenders, kings of merchandise. Auto workers, soda jackers, man out on the street. Lady killers, pompous.
okay, so let's see if we can find another, I think I was gonna say, I thought that this one, yeah, waiting for Roxanne. Let's play a little waiting for Roxanne here. And this is from the Second Opinion album, which you guys will probably remember this artwork um, that I showed when I showed my albums.
The temperature is 93. You think she'd have the courtesy? And I am not made for this kind of waiting. She is with the business world and she's a pretty busy girl. Maybe she is working overtime. I know. All the time you said the blocks I pull the limbs off of my socks. I read another magazine, I stare into the TV screen, and I'm just a convict caught up in her waste of time. Maybe traffic's all backed up, maybe beggars help me up. All I know is that I'm stuck, waiting for my time, waiting for my time. I go right to all the time and time, waiting for my time, waiting for my time. I was climbing the wall, she didn't bother to call. I was pacing the floor, I couldn't knock on the door. She's got no boundaries.
Okay, so I may play a couple more, guys. Don't want to burn you out too much uh, on 4 out of 5 doctors. So maybe I can find Mr. Cool Shoes. You guys are probably like, oh God. Steve probably wishes I had never heard of a 4 out of 5 doctors. Because as many times as he's seen House on Sorority Row, he never talked about that band.
Well, he's the social scene, the motor got the corner on the sphere. The Tipperillo smoker never gulps, he always sips. And he can judge a fine wine just by sniffing the cork. He never has to ask which one's the salad fork. And you think I'm jealous? Well, of course I'm jealous. I'm 15 been trying to wear those shoes of his since that pop my first cold beer and kissed the homecoming queen. Mr. Cool Shoes, I'm young and confused. I won't be this way forever soon. I'll get myself together. What does it take to be someone who rates in this world?
Okay. And I'll play one more, if I can find it, from the Boogeyman soundtrack. Um, which I'll just play, not from Her World, which is, I would say, more new wave-ish, I guess. So I promise you guys this will be the last one, okay? Or the last one I show for, oops, wrong one. Share screen.
Cheese is a cold cream and I'm making bombs in my room. She's like a prom queen and I'm the prophet of doom. I'm smuggling firearms, she's reading Mademoiselle. Don't drop the nerve gas, that's not perfume on that shelf. I'm using force in affecting political change. She needs a new dress, she thinks she'll go shopping today. Oh, I'm not from her world. No, I'm not from her world. I'm not from her world. No, I'm not from her world. I've got a radio broadcasting to the third world.
Okay. So have you guys heard enough of 4 out of 5 doctors? Are you sick of 4 out of 5 doctors? Don't want to hear about them again. But we haven't got to the last one yet. But before I do that, I wanted to read what you guys were putting in the chat here. Um, well, y'all were really hey John. Dirk says, have y'all ever heard of Seed? They were killer. Seen them with typo negative at the wet bar downtown Shreveport, hole in the wall. I have not, Dirk. Um, and you guys were talking about suicidal tendencies. Texas saw them open for a screen from DC summer of 1983 before anyone knew who they were. John, you say Suicidal Tendencies got one song on Iron Man. My brother was a big fan of theirs in a band called Mr. Bungle. Texas, you say Mr. Bungle's records are great. I saw them live and they were horrible. They played a lot of noise, which is fine, but Patton kept singing in Italian. Women always get in the way, don't they, Darren? Say, not sure, John. I got out of thrash scene in the early 1990s. Sadly, women got in the way. Um, I don't know if I've ever heard anything by Primus, John. Well, Blissful, I'm glad you say you never get bored with music. I think some of the guys might have gotten bored by 4 out of 5 doctors, though. And they're probably going to start screaming when I announce this last band. I'm surprised Uncle Bill isn't still in here screaming. Dirty says Seed and Code 4 were great local bands. Don't know how far they reached out. Y'all heard of them. Darren hadn't heard of them. I hadn't heard of them either. Um, Dirk loves Primus. Johnny say I had a lot of their vinyls, Dirk, but so most of my non-soundtracks. They are very underrated, I think. Texas, you say only bands I know from Louisiana were Red Rockers, Disappointed Parents, and Shell Shock. Mayor, I figure you're talking about one of the 4 out of 5 Doctors songs that would have been perfect for the Valley Girl soundtrack. Dirk says Pantera, Tex. Well, Phil was always. I seen them when Phil had an afro. Darren, you say I could cry when I think of all the vinyl I saw back in the '90s for next to nothing. Texas, you say I had a friend who saw Pantera a lot before Phil when they were doing the glam look, and he was friends with both Vinnie Paul and Dimebag. John, you say I love Cowboys from Hell album. The rest I can take or leave album wise, but they were so talented. Plus, Dimebag being a huge Eddie Van Halen fan really set him apart with his solos. Mary say, Darren been there, done that. Now I'm back to buying vinyl. Um, I will look up King Diamond. Dirk, I've heard of King Diamond, but I don't think I've ever listened to any of their music. Darren, you say King Diamond was one band I regret not seeing. Abigail, what an album. Mary say I always think about Clerks 2 when I hear King Diamond. Hey, Chris V, going on a fall break. Yeah, I should talk about that, but I won't tonight. Darren, you say Abigail should have been adapted to a horror film. That concept album was immense. Mary said, I want to hear from the fifth doctor. LOL. Oh, yeah, that probably would freak them out. Unless, well, if I played Nickelback. I actually like some of Nickelback stuff, though. Johnny said, I was listening to the Trick or Treat soundtrack yesterday and realized that Hold On to the Night song is basically their riff on Radar Love. Interesting. I hadn't thought about that. And Fastway is another band that I'm going to cover in a later like part 2 or 3. Texas, you say, John, I hate that when that happens and you're racking your brain trying to figure it out. Yeah, I start to feel like Kevin Bacon's character in Stir of Echoes when he's trying to figure out what the song is, and he's listening to CD after CD, and I think the song turns out to be Paint It Black. I do remember the name. I don't think I ever listened to Faster Pussycat though. Okay, so guys, to get to this last band, and I know you guys are probably, cringing, probably because some of you got a good idea who I'm going to be talking about. Okay. And that is the Names, aka the Clowns from Terror on Tour. Okay. So, guys, just before I start playing some of their songs, keep in mind that the Names, their songs were very different than the stuff played by the Clowns, aka still the Names, in Terror on Tour. So, the band you see in Terror on Tour, I believe, is either all comprised of the Names or partially comprised of members of the Names. Um, so, um, some of this stuff, these tabs, I'm going to close out. Because I don't want to get confused here. Okay. So this is there's a site called Monster Movie Music that actually kind of did a review in 2019 of Terror on Tour, and then they had the Names Remain Insane. Um, so they said this Saturday night special puts the emphasis on the word turd in Sat Turd Day, but then maybe that's not such a bad thing. This thing is called Terror on Tour, and it was made in 1980. I probably should have only been a 3 or 4 minute music video. This person spent about 30 minutes trying to find out the guys in the Names were the actors who play the clowns in the movie. IMDb didn't tell me, but finally, by going to their Facebook page and looking at a picture of an article written about them, I was able to match up the names. The Names are from Rockford, Illinois, and are actually a pretty good band. It seems the music they created for the film was heavier than their normal music, but then the Clowns were known for decapitating mannequins on stage. So there is a power pop tune called Baby You're a Fool that the Names did, that in this person's opinion that wrote this little review was way better than anything in the movie. Okay. Um, so So I will play you a couple of these Names songs. Um, one of which is Why Can't It Be? Okay. So let's go back. Yeah, 45 Grave, Chris V, will be one that I'd want to cover in a later one. This one, I was doing some really deep dives. So I was trying to pick out stuff that was probably a little less familiar to people, just to kind of try to introduce you guys to some different bands. Okay.
You came on strong, but you backed away. You left me wandering in the night. I asked what's wrong, but you just won't say. I wish that I could hold you tight tonight. I call you up, but you're not there. And if you were, you wouldn't care. If that's the way you're gonna talk, then baby, just take a walk. Why can't I see that you're no good for me? Why can't it be the way it should be? Why can't I show you?
Okay. Let's go back. So this might be a little bit, this Baby You're a Fool might be a little bit more rockier, I guess, if that's even a word, um, for you guys. So the other one's kind of more melodic. Um,
You made me cry. I didn't ask you why. Oh no. The words, all the lies. You didn't even try. I know. Baby, you're a loser. You think you're so slick. You've always been relying on those second-hand tricks. You thought you really had me. Try it once more. Well, honey, now it's my turn to swap out the door. Don't wanna see you, well I don't need you, oh no, oh, oh. Baby you're a fool, baby you're a fool, baby you're a fool, baby you're a fool.
okay. So, I'm not sure if there were any other, like, I don't know why that thing is doing that. Okay, let's see here. Well, there's, I may play just one or two more of these for you guys. Hopefully you won't get bored.
We don't want to kick it. We don't want to lose you. We don't want to lose you. Just want to be your friend. Just want to be your friend. You know it's true. When you like it too. We're so in love with you.
So I'm not going to bore you guys anymore with the names music. There is some other stuff that you can look up if you look up the names on YouTube. Um, I think you guys are still talking about like heavier stuff than what I was talking about towards the end. Um, Dirk, you say wasps get no love. Oh, I'm sorry, Dirk. Um, Maybe say, yes, Dirk, I've seen Faster Pussycat live twice. The band signed my CD. Darren, you say, Wasp, one of the best metal bands ever. Dirk, you say, yes, Darren, Wasp still holds up for me. Um, Dirk, you say, Blind in Texas was part a drinking game we played back in the day. I don't know, my mouse is went backed up a little bit. Saxon needs some love too. Yeah, you guys are throwing out, I mean, a lot of good bands and some that I really need to try listening to. Derek says Crocus. I don't think I've ever listened to Crocus. Darren says he never got into Crocus. Sepultura for sure, though. Darren, you say Agent Steel were a great band. Saw them in London in '87. Texas, you say Chris B. They do from me. I'm friends with Dinah on Facebook, and I love that first single, Black Cross Rules. Chris V. You say Goodbye, Stranger Melody. Darren, you say Nuclear Assault, another two. Mary say at Chris V. Love 45 Grave. One of my best memories was the singer Dinah Cancer wishing me happy birthday back in the MySpace days. Darren, you say I was lucky in the 80s. I saw most UK tours. Death Angel played my hometown. I think Brandon's moving around. Uh, Chris V, did the names, is that what you're talking about? Enjoyed that band more than the Doctors? Chris V said name sounds like they had a solid drummer. Yeah. Johnny says Soulfly was like Max Cavaleri's new metal band. That first album was good, I think. I don't think metal as much now, but there's some bangers from that era. Darren, I wish somebody had some video or pictures of you stage diving. You say you remember stage diving at lots of these. I couldn't do it nowadays, though. Darky say Exodus very underrated, I thought. John, I love ACDC. You say my favorite rock band is still ACDC. As popular as they are, I love Bon Scott era ACDC. Danny say saw Exodus in Bristol, fabulous disaster tour. Mary say Dirk saw Maiden a few times, twice opening for Judas Priest. The first time was when Paul Diano was still a singer. Chris V say, yeah, the name's got a solid rhythm section. Blissful, you say, Mayor, I love Faster Pussycat. The whole glam and hair bands are good friends with them still. Darren, you say, Blissful, did you see Motley Crue back in the day? Johnny say, my first concert was Brooks and Dunn, unwillingly, LOL. Blissful, you say, Darren, yes, my boyfriend's band opened for them. John, you say, Darren, I'd love to see Crew around 85 to 89 when they were still really good and Vince could still sing. So, I don't know if they're... Is anything else it seemed like there was something else I wanted to share about the names. Which they actually do have a Facebook page. The name it's called the Names Rock Band Rockford, Illinois Tear On Tour. And I don't know if this is like a fan page or what, but somebody has video of them, I guess, performing live and performing "Baby You're a Fool." And somebody said the Red Line and DeKalb was the place to be when the names came to town. There's several other different things that are posted, some pictures and things. Somebody named Gregory S. Stomberg did an article, I guess, in some magazine or something from 1979 on the names. I'll read a little bit of it to you. I thought I was prepared for the names concert. I did my homework well on this band from Rockford by buying their single Why Can't It Be and Baby You're a Fool. I joined their fan club and got on their concert mailing list. I knew their names and what they looked like. I thought I was ready to interview them. I spoke briefly with Matt Flynn, their drummer, telling him that I would be taking pictures throughout the concert and if I could have an interview for Metal Thunder. So Metal Thunder must have been either the magazine or the fanzine. He said he was interested, so we talked for a while till he said he had to go to the dressing room or whatever to talk to the band before going on. So I went back to my table, began to drink, and waited for them to hit the stage. And hit it they did. Dave Galuzzo, who plays Cherry in Terror on Tour, one of the members of the Clowns. Vocals and his presence on stage was very natural. He sang with energy and feeling. Rick Pemberton's guitar just really blew me away. I could swear I was hearing two guitars most of the time. Kick and movement on stage blended good with their style. Rick says Luga on bass kept on rocking throughout the show with emotions that the audience could feel, and his background vocals held up well. Steve Hauser on keyboards had some really far out solos and played his keyboards only as a treat for the audience, but not overplaying. He kept everyone wanting more. Matt Flynn, trying not to hide behind the drums, really kept the beat together and kept the audience dancing in the aisles, playing with his high energy rhythm and rock and roll playing. They played long, creative, high energy sets, each set having its own special moments. Some of the special moments of mine are listed below, along with assorted facets and information. The Tomahawk Kid was one of the most memorable of the songs in the concert. The Yo Ho Ho's just really turned your head around with all members singing chorus. Steve Hauser told me he didn't usually sing chorus for that song, but tonight he did, and the effect was noticeably better. Rick Saluga and Rick Pemberton intertwined with each other nicely during the show. I had told the band members that I was going to take pictures of them all singularly and wanted to get a good picture of Matt Flynn on the drums and if they could announce him so I could. So in the second set, Dave Galuzzo introduced him and Matt stood up and hesitated a moment waiting for his picture to be took. But lucky me having to be in the bathroom and missed it. Dave Galuzzo's singing was something special, and his drinking on stage while the other members played was in good taste. In between sets 2 and 3, Steve Hauser and I went out and had a nice long talk about their future, their single, fiction records, lively times, an article in England's Melody Maker, and other things. They're playing their single, Why Can't It Be, when Rick Pemberton wrote, they're not playing side B of their single, Baby You're a Fool, which Rick Saluga wrote. After the concert, I had a very long talk with Matt Flynn about almost everything, hobbies, personal feelings, the names, our hopes and dreams, and talking about the good old days. I could and would like to go on and on about their playing, but don't take my word for it. Check them out at all the local clubs. They're sure to be called back whenever they play. And then the concert was over. The names had picked up and left, and I never did an actual interview with them. We just talked and drank and had a really good time. The kind of relationship a reporter should have on his first meeting with a rock band. So look for next month's interview with the names. So, and on this Facebook page, you can see a lot of pictures of the band and stuff like that. Um, so guys, I'm going to read through some of the rest of these things. I think I lost a few people along the way, probably because a lot of people weren't interested in either 4 out of 5 doctors or the names, but I wanted to put that out there anyway. Mary said the first time I moshed was at a Jane's Addiction. Got knocked right on my ass. LOL. Darren, you say Theater of Pain is a great album. Blissful, you say, John, I have stories which unfortunately I can't share. Turkey say, Middlehead for life. Mary, you say, believe me, John, I saw Motley in the Shout at the Devil tour. Vince spent more time behind the stage snorting coke than singing badly. Mary said, I had the perfect spot. I was seated on the side, so I had a good view of everything Vince was doing backstage. Darren, you say, not metal, but did anybody see Lionel Richie live from that Coronation concert the other night? Oh my God, he's lost all ability to sing. It was cringy. It's on YouTube. Oh, that's so sad, Darren. I didn't see it, but that is very sad. Yeah, I like some of his songs too, Blissful. Blissful, you say, has anyone listened to the new Winger album? I was blown away. It's really a powerhouse, very non-Winger. I'm gonna have to check that out. I haven't listened to it. Darren, you say that Aussie tour with Motley Crue has been well documented. Johnny says Skid Row, Sebastian Bach has a recurring role in the Gilmore Girls. It's kind of funny, plays Shocker in a local band on the show. Johnny said, I don't know why I had to specify Skid Row. It's not like fucking Bach from centuries ago would be on a girls' rom-com show. Well, thank you, Mayor. You say, Dana, I liked hearing most of the bands tonight. My musical taste is all over the place. And I'm glad that at least some of you got some enjoyment out of it. I'm not putting anybody down that hated some of these or was not interested in them. I just wanted to put the stuff out there, basically. Blissful, you say, John, I used to have so much fun with Sebastian back in the day, another good friend. John, you say, oh, wow, Blissful. Yeah, he seems super cool. Texas, you say, Dirk, have you seen the first decline? Um, but guys, it's almost 11 p.m. and I hate to break up this awesome discussion you guys are having about music. But sadly, I think I'm going to have to get off of here. One, because I need to get some rest for work tomorrow. And two, I think I'm literally about ready to lose my voice. So I'm not sure how it's going to be tomorrow when I'm on the phones. Um, but I did enjoy the extra side conversation on that. I don't want anybody to think that I didn't enjoy it, and I hope you guys enjoyed at least some of this little walk through horror movie rock band history. I am going to do another one of these at some point in time. Maybe not do such deeper dives as I did. Tonight, and that way we can cover, some other stuff that more people have heard of. Yes, hot tea with honey. That actually sounds really good right now on my throat. Um, you want maybe you want another song by the Fifth Doctor? Okay, Darren. Yeah, and again, apologies that I totally forgot what day it was. But yes, 7 p.m. my time. Dark, you say it was fun going down memory lane, Daniel. Well, I'm glad because, you know, this is a way for me to decompress. And I told Steve, I said, even though I'm not feeling 100% just yet, um, doing these live streams allow me to hang out with you guys and kind of decompress from a rough day at work. But with all that being said, I am going to really have to get off here for the night. So thank you guys for joining me for this live stream. And tomorrow night, of course, TJ and I should be doing the first half of the second season of Monsters episodes. Thursday will be me and Darren and whoever else wants to join us talking about paranormal experiences. Um, Yes, definitely, Darren. Anyone else with paranormal stories should jump on too. Oh well, thank you, Texas. That makes me feel a little bit better. I didn't bore you guys too awfully much then, and you were able to get some really good discussion going about music in there. So, with all that being said, I'm gonna skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now.